Hey everyone, welcome back to XVolt Productions. Today is June 22nd, 2023, which means I've had my iPhone SE for a whole month. Now, what is it like to have an iPhone SE in an era of copy-pasted phablets? The first major thing that everyone likes to point out is my phone's size, which honestly I don't blame them, because when I started using this, I got used to its size pretty quickly, so holding my old iPhone 11 makes it feel massive. For me, the size is pretty convenient since it sits pretty deep in my pocket and so I don't have to worry about it falling out. One thing I do like to do is flexing the fact that I can reach across my whole entire phone without much effort, like the new phones. It's like that old iPhone 5 ad.
Your thumb. It goes from here to here. This bigger screen goes from here to here. Now, that's either A, an amazing coincidence, or B, a dazzling display of common sense. Common sense. Common sense.
One big thing I tend to not notice with this phone is its battery life. It has 90% battery capacity like I showed in the video of when I got it, but because it's running iOS 15 and not, say, iOS 10, the newer software drains the battery of the older hardware pretty fast, so I only get around 1 day of charge per use. But because I don't actually use the phone very often, I don't really worry about running out of battery. Lowest I've seen it go is maybe about 10%. I only average about 2 hours of screen time a day. If you compare that to someone else my age, you'll probably see that their phone's average battery use is about 7 to 9 hours a day. So that does make a really big difference. Another thing is that none of the apps I use really drain the battery very much, except for Discord, which I do use pretty often on the phone when I do use it, but I try to relegate as much as I could on the phone to the computer. For being a 7-year-old phone, the camera is actually pretty good. It has 12 megapixels, just like my iPhone 11, but the sensor is a bit different and it does take a little bit longer to focus than the iPhone 11, which is something I have been noticing. But besides that, it does take really good photos. Also, because the iPhone 11 was the first one to have a very high quality front camera, this has a 1 megapixel front camera, while the iPhone 11 has a 12 megapixel front camera, and that has slow motion capabilities on the front camera, but I don't really care. I have taken some photos with this on my own, so here's some of those.
Hi, gentlemen. It's been a year.
Yeah! And here's a comparison with the iPhone 11. So this is a video test between the iPhone 11 and the iPhone SE. So yeah, you can kind of see kind of a difference. The iPhone 11 does have more optical image stabilization, but the quality is still pretty good. So this is the 12 megapixel front camera versus the 1 megapixel front camera. They both look okay. The front camera obviously isn't the best on the SE, but also, to be fair, when I got this phone, the iPhone SE does have a bit of scratches on the front camera, so that's probably why it doesn't look as good as it should. I don't have much issue with the SE, but one thing I do tend to have is sometimes the home button doesn't register my fingerprint. It does most of the time, but sometimes if my hand gets a bit too greasy or the home button gets a bit too greasy from my hand grease, then it doesn't see my finger sometimes, but that only happens like once every few days, and it's really easy to fix. I just wipe it off. Some people could find this next thing an issue, but the iPhone SE does not support 5G, so when I put my SIM card in it, it automatically defaulted to LTE. I don't really notice much of a difference between 5G and LTE. I still use it normally, and there's not really much of a speed difference in my opinion, but I also really don't use this too much to do searches. Sometimes maybe it might be a bit slow, but I also am not searching much on LTE anyway. Either there's really no difference in speed, or I just got used to the LTE speed, which I still don't really see much of a difference in. So yeah, I've had this SE for a month, and I love it. Would I recommend it to you? If you use a phone similar to the way that I do, and you don't mind some of the issues I outlined, as well as the attention, then for sure I'd recommend it to you. And if you're worried about money, I got this for really cheap on eBay, $55. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.